Hey there, Willowbrook, and thanks so much for doing our daily Devo. Today we are in Luke chapter 1. At the beginning of this month, our women's ministry hosted our annual Christmas gathering. We call it Celebrate, and one of the passages that we were encouraged by that night was actually this beautiful interaction between Mary and Elizabeth. So I wanted to revisit it, specifically as a point that the speaker brought out from the passage, because I think it's a timely reminder for us as we walk into this holiday week. Some of you are going to be visiting family this week, maybe interacting with people you may not see on the regular. And one of my favorite moments in the Christmas story actually happens right here when Mary goes to visit family, specifically her cousin Elizabeth. Mary is carrying big news, unexpected news, complicated news, and it's joyful and terrifying all at once. And Elizabeth, who is older and wiser, actually already walking through her own miracle, has a choice in how she's going to respond to Mary's news. You see, she could have questioned Mary. She could have judged her. She could have offered advice Mary didn't ask for. She could have compared their stories, maybe tried to manage the situation, but Elizabeth instead blesses her. Luke tells us that Elizabeth is filled with the Holy Spirit and she speaks life over Mary. She says, "Blessed are you among women. Blessed is she who believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her." Before Mary explains herself, before she defends anything, before she sings her song of praise, we see in Luke 1, Elizabeth blesses her. And I keep thinking about how intentional that response is. Elizabeth doesn't add fear to Mary's obedience. She doesn't weigh her down with opinions or warnings. She recognizes that Mary is carrying something holy and fragile, and she chooses blessing as her first response. That feels relevant to us right now as we head into the holidays. You know, over the next week, you may be interacting with family and friends. Maybe some of them may come carrying news. Some of it may be joyful. Some of it may be confusing. Some of it may stir up jealousy or judgment or this feeling that you know better than they do. There will be moments when your instinct is to react, to fix, to question, to offer advice, or maybe just to kind of quietly evaluate. Elizabeth's blessing, I think, invites us to pause, maybe and ask a better question. What's my first response going to be? Because the first thing that we offer someone often sets the tone for the entire interaction. Blessing doesn't mean you understand everything. It doesn't mean you agree with every decision. It doesn't mean you have to solve anything. Blessing means choosing faith over fear in how you respond. So, what might it look like for you to bless people you encounter this week? It might look like blessing them with your words, saying, "I'm really glad you shared this with me," or "I can see God at work in you." It might look like blessing with restraint, holding back advice or opinions that don't need to be shared. It actually might look like blessing through prayer, quietly praying for someone, or even asking, "Hey, how can I pray for you right now?" Elizabeth reminds us that our words have power. They can either be a weight to what someone is already carrying, or they can just help them stand taller in what God's doing. And so my prayer for you and for me this Christmas is that our homes and our conversations would sound more like Elizabeth's, full of grace, full of faith, life-giving words that would be blessing people first, especially when it would be easier to react. Willowbrook, I love you, and I'm praying that you have a happy and a blessed Christmas.